Welcome to this short shoulder loosening sequence. So we're going to be working pretty much just on shoulders in this. If you want to combine this with a warm-up you like, maybe some leg work that you like, whatever, you can do that. Or if you just need to loosen up the shoulders, you can do that. Many of us spend a lot of time either driving or sitting at a computer, so that's getting a bit hunched up. So we're going to try and open back up again. It can feel a little bit weird, a little bit vulnerable. So let's see how you get on with things. Everything's optional. Obviously, this is a video. I can't see what you're doing, so you can do what you like. We're going to need a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use maybe a rolled up towel, maybe the cord from a dressing gown, a couple of blocks. You can use a pile of books or something like that if you don't have blocks. You may or may not need the blocks. A blanket, doesn't have to be a special yoga blanket. It can be any old kind of blanket or maybe even a towel. The chair's here, so I can show you some options from the chair. Then I'll show you an option where we can use the chair, but don't feel you have to run and get a chair unless you really want to do the chair option. Or if you're going to sit in a chair, obviously, then you'll need a chair. So we're going to start off by taking our blanket. We're going to roll it into a sausage. On the mat, we're going to place it along the mat, and we're going to bring our spine down onto this sausage. Depending on how long your sausage is, your head might come off the end like this, or you might be supported all the way. By all means, experiment a little bit. We'll have our feet about as wide as the mat. Bring the knees together so they're nice and comfortable. Then we're going to bring the arms out at shoulder height in a T shape, so the shoulder blades are hugging into our blanket sausage. And we're really opening up the muscles in the front of the chest. And if you're down on the mat, you can stay like this. If you want to pause the video and stay like this for several minutes, absolutely go for it. If some of the stretching is a bit tight, then you can, as you breathe in and out, imagine that you're breathing directly into the areas that feel tight. So if you're there on the floor and you're happy, stay there. I am going to come up, so I'll roll onto my side and come up. I'm going to come to the chair. On the chair, you can, depending on what your chair's like, this might be a bit of a project, but we can lay the blanket over the back of the chair, or you can sit on the chair. This chair back doesn't go all the way over to the shoulders, but it still gives enough room to maybe not bringing out at shoulder height. That would be quite a lot. Bringing them back and down, maybe looking slightly up. And again, you can stay here for as many minutes as you like. It's not as restful as being on the mat, so you probably wouldn't want to be here for several minutes. But you are getting a nice stretch at the front of the body. If you wanted to do this, maybe at work where you might not have a blanket, normalise having blankets at work. You could just bring your hands behind and push down and look up. And again, that's more of a little stretch to open up your shoulders rather than something you're going to be doing for several minutes. So move the chair out of the way for now. If you are on your back on the blanket, please come to a seated position. So the next couple of things we're going to do, we are going to do seated, so you can definitely do them on the chair. I'm just going to show them on the mat because I'm going to be moving around a little bit to show what I'm doing. But you can sit however you like as long as it's comfortable. Or you can sit uncomfortably if you really want. I don't recommend it. So you can sit in Sukhasana like me. You can be in Vipassana, Hero's Pose. You can sit with your feet out in Dandasana. Just get yourself to a comfortable seat. We are working on the arms so the legs can do whatever they want. So we're going to start by bringing the strap, unfurling it, holding it in two hands, holding it above our head as if it's a football scarf, and moving it left and right as if it's a football scarf. Is there a team in an English Football League that plays in purple? Maybe West Ham? That's a lovely kind of violet colour, isn't it? I'm just rage baiting any West Ham fans watching. I know it's claret and blue, really. But we're so easily wound up. And then we'll come to the top. And we're going to bring our hands forwards. Just looking at where the chair is before we do the next bit. The next bit, we're going to bring the hands up and back. Yeah, the chair's there. But we'll stay here for a few breaths. And then we'll come up and forwards. So unless you left your chair very close, you can stay where you are. I'm going to move a little bit forwards. So if you found that really easy, you can move your hands a little bit closer together, walk them in along the strap. If you found it really difficult, particularly if you couldn't keep your arms straight as we went back, move your hands apart. We're going to do it a couple of times so you've got a bit of time to finesse it. So we'll go up and back, taking a couple of breaths here. With the stretch in the front of the body and along the arms, up and forwards, up and back. Again, breathing into any discomfort, not pain though, we don't want pain. And up and forwards. So you want the kind of stretch you need to go, oof. Oh, that's a good stretch. Not something where you can't breathe or you're holding back tears. You know, we don't want to push anything. And we'll do one more. Up and back. And then up and forwards. Give the shoulders a couple of rolls. Then I'm going to hold the strap in one hand. I'm going to bring it to the nape of the neck, so I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. So one hand to the back of the neck as if you're trying to zip up a dress or get an itch right down there. Other hand, palm out, comes up. And we get the hands as close together as we can. Let me just move that bit of strap out of the way so you can see. On this side, my fingers just about touch. For some people, you'll just not need the strap, you'll use the hands. But for me, I need a strap and definitely on the other side. And I'll turn to the side so you can see. Once our hands are as close as they want to be, we're going to sit up nice and straight and we're going to look forwards and up. So the back of the head is pushing that arm back a bit. Couple of breaths here. So this is cow face pose. It does have legs that you can do as well if you want to look that up. I'm not going to do them in this video because I'm concentrating on the arms, but it's a very big hip rotation, these cow-faced legs. Try to think of internal, external. It's external, but you bring the thighs together. And then we'll release the strap. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bringing the hands as close together as we can. So this is me on this side, maybe a little bit, a lot tighter than the other side. And then obviously you don't have to turn around, I'm just showing you what to do. We sit up and we bring our head a little bit back, looking forwards, maybe slightly up. Then we can release that, move the strap out of the way. We're going to come into puppy pose. There's a couple of options here. This is where you might need your blocks. So I'll show, first of all, without blocks, and then various options, and then in the chair. So we're going to we'll start by coming to all fours. We're going to bring our hands about a handprint forwards, our knees a little bit wider, a little bit back. And our bum is going to come up and back. So if you've got a cat and if you've got a girl cat and your girl cat has ever been in heat, this is what we're doing. Wow. And then gravity is going to come, bring you all the way down now. My nose is on the mat now. And once my nose is on the mat, gravity is not doing anything anymore. So if you're up here and getting a stretch, that's absolutely fine. If your nose is on the mat, you can bring blocks under the hands. If you need more, you can obviously put the blocks on a higher setting. Or another thing you can do is bring elbows to blocks. And another option, if you don't like being so close to the floor, if that's claustrophobic, we can use a chair. I always forget my watch is magnetic. And I use a metal chair. We can use a chair. Elbows to the chair. Make sure there's enough room between your upper arms for your head. Then just let the head come down. And you can bring your hands to the back of the neck if that's comfortable. So that's how you do it with a chair. In a chair, you're not really going to have that gravity pushing down. But you can still open the arms, so bringing the arms straight up, maybe clasping and bringing them down. So they're down at the nape of the neck, as if you're doing tricep curls, but we're not doing tricep curls. So just the down bit of that. And again, you've got to be a little bit more active here to get the stretch. On the mat, you can be a little bit more passive. But if you don't like this kind of thing, then just do a bit more of the previous pose on both sides, which was the cow face pose. So again, particularly the versions on the mat, that's the way you can be for several minutes at a time. So by all means, pause the video if you would like to. I will demonstrate this on the chair because I don't need to turn around much, and we can do it on the chair. We can do the legs on the chair as well. So It's eagle pose, you might be familiar with it. So legs are entirely optional. If you want to sit on the floor, you can do. If you want to sit like this, you can do. If you want to stand, you can do that. You can stand and do the eagle leg standing if you want. But we'll start with left over right. We can cross like this, or if that's uncomfortable, you can cross here. We'll do same arm on top, so left over right. We've got options. We can hook the back of our shoulders. We can bring the backs of the arms together. Or we can double twist and bring the fronts of the arms together. So whichever option feels best for you. And this might already be quite a bit of a stretch in the back of the shoulders. Then what we want to do, I will turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to slightly lift the elbows up away from the floor and slightly push them away from the face. So in one of the other options, that looks like this. It only needs to be a little push. I find it quite easy to push too hard here, but maybe that's because I've got very tight shoulders. And we'll uncross, cross the other way again, crossing at the knee, crossing at the ankle, no cross whatsoever is fine. Standing up, you can cross like this, or maybe you can double cross like this. Entirely optional. We're concentrating on our arms. It's at this point I always forget which arm we just did. So we'll do right and left. Either hugging, back to back, front to front. Lifting the elbows a little bit away from the floor, pushing them a little bit away from the face. Taking a couple of breaths. And then we can unfill that. Bring the feet back to the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, you can sit however you like. You can also stand up for this. So we're going to do sun breaths. I'll show them on the chair. This is pretty much in all of my chair classes, is sun breaths, because it's a nice movement. But you can do it from whatever position you like. So we're going to start with our hands out in front, as if we're offering biscuits to somebody. And then we're going to bring the hands together. They can go up, wide, drawing a big circle like the sun. If you sat on the mat, you might be a bit flat on the bottom of the sun, and I'll bring them together. So we're coming back to the starting position, and then bringing the arms up. And to match the movements of the breath more than the breath's movement, we inhale as we get nice and wide, and we exhale as we come into the middle. We'll do a couple of these. We'll do one more. And we'll end with our hands in prayer. We always do this in my chair class as well. We move the hands left and right a few times. Just get a kind of lateral movement of the shoulders. We'll do one more on each side, and then we will settle in the middle. Hands in prayer. If you would like to sit or lie for a few moments, take a couple of nice deep breaths and kind of end your practice with a bit of relaxation, then I really encourage that. But otherwise, I would like to thank you for sharing this time with me. I hope that's loosened up your shoulders